You ever feel like you're standing in a crowded room, but you're completely alone? Maybe you've experienced it, that knowing feeling of isolation, the weight of not having someone to call, someone to confide in. Today, I want to talk to the woman who feels like she has no friends. And let me tell you something right now. Being alone doesn't mean you are unloved, unworthy, or destined to stay that way. The truth is, your environment doesn't define you, your decisions do. Many women spend their lives chasing friendships that don't nourish them, connections that drain them, and relationships that dim their light. That's not your fault. It's just life showing you a powerful lesson. Your circle must reflect your value, your purpose, and your vision. Here's the first hook you need to understand. Being alone is not the problem. The problem is the compromise you accept in the company you keep. If you are surrounded by people who don't elevate you, don't inspire you, or don't challenge you to grow, then it's better to be alone than to be with them. Some of the most powerful women in history started alone. They built empires, transformed communities, and changed the world while most people were chasing popularity. Loneliness is the incubator of greatness. But here's the second hook. While solitude can be empowering, isolation can be deadly. You must intentionally cultivate relationships that add value, teach lessons, and expand your horizon. Stop looking for friends who fit you perfectly today. Start being the woman worth following, worth supporting, worth being around. You ever feel like life has left you alone on an island, like no one truly understands you or sees your value? I want to tell you something right now. Being alone is not a punishment. It's a season. And seasons are temporary, but what you build during them can last a lifetime. Many women look at their lives and measure their worth by the people around them. If there are no friends, they feel rejected, unworthy, or invisible. Let me tell you something. That is a false narrative, a trap your mind can fall into if you allow it. The truth is, solitude is a powerful teacher, and when you embrace it correctly, it can transform your entire life. Imagine standing in a room full of people, yet feeling invisible. That feeling is uncomfortable. It triggers doubt, fear, and sometimes anger. But what if I told you that discomfort is exactly the spark you need to ignite your personal growth? When you are alone, your attention is no longer scattered. You can focus on yourself, your vision, and the person you are becoming. Think about the most successful women in the world. Many of them spent seasons in solitude, refining their skills, discovering their passions, and preparing for greatness. Being alone gives you clarity that crowds can never provide. Here's a hook you need to hear. Isolation doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise if you choose to use it. Every great achievement, every life-changing transformation starts with a period of focused, intentional solitude. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I feel lonely. I want companionship. I want someone to understand me. And I get it. That desire is natural, human, and necessary. But here's the second hook. Chasing people who don't match your energy or vision is the fastest way to prolong your loneliness. Being alone allows you to reset your standards, redefine your boundaries, and identify what you truly need from relationships. Many women settle for friendships that drain them, that diminish their confidence, that hold them back. Loneliness is a wake-up call, not a failure. It's life saying, stop running after what doesn't serve you. Prepare yourself for what does. While others waste time trying to fill emptiness with temporary connections, you can use this time to create value within yourself that attracts the right people at the right time. Think about this. Your mind is like fertile soil. If you plant weeds, toxic relationships, shallow connections, unnecessary drama, that soil will never produce fruit. But when you spend time alone, intentionally planting seeds of knowledge, wisdom, and self-love, you prepare the ground for the relationships and opportunities that align with your destiny. That's the third hook. Being alone is not emptiness, it's preparation. Your isolation is an investment. Every book you read, every new skill you learn, every moment you spend reflecting on your purpose compounds like interest in a bank account. You may not see immediate results, but over time, your growth becomes visible to everyone around you. Here's a fourth hook to grab your attention. Loneliness reveals your inner strength. It forces you to face fears, insecurities, and doubts head on. When you emerge from this season, you are not the same person who entered it. You are sharper, wiser, and more magnetic. People will notice. Opportunities will notice. And most importantly, you will notice. Solitude is the fire in which your resilience is forged. It is the classroom where your self-worth is taught. And it is the secret weapon of women who are destined for greatness. You've got to understand something about relationships. It's not about how many friends you have. It's about the quality of the relationships you allow in your life. Too many women believe that popularity equals success, that being surrounded by people validates their worth. Let me stop you right there. Quantity without quality is a trap, and it's a trap that keeps you stuck, exhausted, and unfulfilled. Here's a hook for you. One true friend who challenges you, supports you, and lifts you is worth more than 100 friends who drain your energy, distract you from your purpose, and steal your peace. You see, relationships are mirrors. They reflect who you are. If your circle is filled with negativity, gossip, or mediocrity, you will unconsciously adopt those same patterns. But when you are intentional about the company you keep, you align yourself with people who accelerate your growth, expand your vision, and increase your confidence. That is power, and it is rare. Many women settle for friendships that are convenient, that make them feel included, or that are simply habitual. And here's the second hook: convenience never builds destiny. You can be the most talented, most driven, most ambitious woman in the world, but if your friends are holding you back, your potential will remain locked in a cage. Real relationships are not about social media likes, weekend hangouts, or passing conversations. They are about impact. They are about connection that challenges you to think bigger, act bolder, and rise higher. When you start measuring your friendships by value instead of numbers, everything changes. You begin to see that some people in your life are not toxic by intention. They are simply misaligned. And recognizing that truth gives you the power to make choices that serve your future instead of your past. Here's a third hook that will hit home: your circle shapes your destiny. If you want to achieve financial freedom, emotional stability, or spiritual growth, you must surround yourself with people who already operate at that level. Energy is contagious, and excellence is magnetic. It is impossible to remain stagnant when you are in the presence of those who inspire, challenge, and elevate. Many women feel guilty about distancing themselves from old friends or acquaintances, but here's the reality. The energy you allow in your life is far more important than the comfort you hold on to. Comfort will never create the breakthrough you are capable of. Challenge will, growth will, and the right circle will. Let me drop another hook: quality friendships are cultivated, not stumbled upon. They require effort, intentionality, and discernment. You cannot expect to attract the right people while tolerating the wrong ones. Every interaction, every decision about who you invest your time in is a step toward defining the life you deserve. When you become a woman of high value, you automatically filter out the noise, the distractions, and the people who do not contribute to your legacy. This is not arrogance. It is wisdom. It is understanding that your time, energy, and emotional bandwidth are finite resources, and they must be protected at all costs. So when you think about your friendships, ask yourself, do they challenge me to be better? Or do they enable me to stay the same? Do they expand my mind, my opportunities, and my influence, or do they drain me, distract me, and diminish my confidence? One powerful, authentic friend is worth more than an entire crowd that pulls you sideways, downwards, or backwards. The difference between average results and extraordinary results in life is often found in the people you choose to surround yourself with. And that is a decision only you can make right now, in this very moment. You have to understand something fundamental about attracting the right people into your life. It starts with growing yourself first. Too many women look outward, searching for friendships, validation, or support, while neglecting the person they are becoming. Here's a hook you need to hear. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the value you bring to it. You cannot expect to attract excellence while tolerating mediocrity in yourself. You cannot expect to find true friendship while ignoring your own growth. The people who will stand by you, elevate you, and inspire you are already operating at a higher level, and they are looking for someone who matches their energy, mindset, and vision. Growth is magnetic. Stagnation is repellent. That is the reality, whether you like it or not. Many women spend countless hours worrying about who is in their circle instead of investing in themselves. And here's the second hook. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the right people naturally gravitate toward you. It is not about begging for connection or forcing relationships. It is about creating a life of such clarity, purpose, and value that authentic relationships cannot help but form around it. Every book you read, every skill you master, every moment you invest in understanding your purpose compounds like interest in a financial account. The return on investment is not just in knowledge or ability, it is in the people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your elevated self. Let me hit you with the third hook. Self-growth is a litmus test for the friendships you deserve. If you are growing, you will quickly realize that not everyone around you can keep pace with your progress. Some friends will cheer for you, some will ignore you, and some will try to pull you back to their level. That is why growing yourself first is non-negotiable. You must create boundaries, define your standards, and refuse to compromise your trajectory for the sake of comfort or convenience. Women who understand this principle stop chasing friends and start cultivating value. And when you cultivate value, you stop needing validation from the wrong people. Here's another hook to lock this in. Becoming the type of person who attracts the right people requires intentionality. You have to ask yourself daily, am I challenging myself? Am I learning something new? Am I contributing, creating, and serving at a level that reflects the future I desire? If the answer is yes, you are on the path to attracting relationships that honor your worth. If the answer is no, you are settling, and settling is the fastest way to remain surrounded by people who do not elevate you. Growth is a choice, and it is not optional if you want your relationships to mirror the life you were meant to live. Think about this. The friendships that last, the ones that truly matter, are never accidental. They are the result of deliberate self-investment, of showing up consistently as a woman of integrity, value, and purpose. The more you grow, the more the universe positions the right people in your path. And here's the most powerful hook of all. When you focus on yourself first, the friends who truly matter will not just appear, they will actively seek you out because you have become the kind of person they want to be around. Your growth becomes a magnet for connection, opportunity, and alignment, transforming loneliness into power and isolation into preparation for the life you are destined to create. Loneliness is not your enemy, it is a launch pad. Many women see being alone and immediately associate it with failure, rejection, or inadequacy. But let me tell you something, the very moments when you feel most isolated are often the moments when your future is being prepared. Here's a hook to grab your attention. Every powerful woman you admire, every woman who has changed the world, has experienced seasons of solitude. They were alone, not because they were unwanted, but because life was giving them the space to develop skills, character, and clarity that crowds could never provide. Isolation forces focus. It forces reflection. It forces you to confront your fears, your doubts, and the parts of yourself that are waiting for growth. And the truth is, the stronger you become in these quiet seasons, the more magnetic your presence will be to the right people and the right opportunities. Think about it. When you are constantly surrounded by others, it is easy to lose your sense of purpose. Distractions are everywhere. Opinions, gossip, and comparisons cloud your judgment. But when you are alone, you are free to explore your mind, your heart, and your vision without interference. That is power. That is freedom. That is where transformation begins. Here's the second hook. The same solitude that scares you today is the very thing that can shape you into a woman who is unstoppable tomorrow. Women who understand this principle don't beg for companionship or approval. They create themselves. They invest in knowledge, in skill, in discipline, and in character. They recognize that every moment of isolation is a seed planted for the relationships, success, and influence they are destined to cultivate. Many women underestimate the value of this season because society tells them that being alone is a problem. But here's the third hook. Society is wrong. Being alone is not a deficit, it is a resource, it is time, it is space. And how you use this resource will determine the trajectory of your life. You can spend it in fear, anxiety, or self-doubt, or you can spend it building strength, clarity, and self-respect. Every lesson you learn while alone is a lesson that cannot be taught in the company of others. Every skill you develop, every insight you gain, every bit of emotional resilience you cultivate becomes part of the foundation for the life you are about to attract. Here's another hook to make this personal isolation gives you an opportunity to evaluate your current relationships, your environment, and your mindset. When you are alone, you can see clearly which people lift you up and which ones pull you down. You can recognize patterns, beliefs, and behaviors that no longer serve you. And in doing so, you set yourself up to attract people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with your highest self. The power of loneliness is that it reveals truth. The truth about who you are, what you value, and what you deserve. Think of it like this: the rocket cannot leave the earth while it is still grounded. The weight must be lifted, the fuel must be ignited, and the path must be clear. Loneliness is your launch pad. The work you do during this time determines how high you will rise, how far you will go, and how strong you will be when the right people and opportunities finally appear. Every great achievement starts in a season of preparation, and every preparation requires periods of focus, discipline, and solitude. If you embrace your loneliness, it will not break you, it will make you unshakable. Your value determines your circle. This is a principle that cannot be ignored, overlooked, or compromised. Many women search desperately for friendships, approval, or acceptance without ever asking themselves a simple question: what kind of person am I attracting? Here's a hook you need to grasp immediately. The people you allow in your life are a mirror reflecting how you see yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, negativity, or mediocrity, you will naturally attract the same. But when you honor yourself, set boundaries, and live with purpose, the people who are meant to be in your life cannot help but gravitate toward you. Your self-worth is magnetic. Your standards are a filter. And the more clearly you define them, the higher the quality of your relationships becomes. Many women fail to realize that they are constantly sending signals, consciously or unconsciously, about what they accept, what they tolerate, and what they deserve. And here's the second hook. If you want meaningful friendships, meaningful connections, and meaningful influence, you must first become a woman who embodies value. Value is not about wealth, appearance, or social status. Value is about integrity, character, growth, and contribution. When you invest in yourself, your mindset, your skills, your emotional intelligence, you are creating a standard that naturally filters out people who are misaligned and attracts those who elevate your life. You become a magnet for connection that matters. Think about this. Every powerful relationship, every impactful friendship, every partnership that changes your trajectory starts with self-alignment. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot attract greatness if you have not cultivated it within yourself. Here's the third hook. Your circle is not determined by luck, coincidence, or chance. It is determined by who you are and the energy you emit. Women who understand this principle stop chasing friends and start cultivating value. They recognize that the universe conspires to bring the right people into the lives of those who are ready, prepared, and deserving. Another hook to consider: boundaries are not limitations, they are protection. They define the space in which the right people can enter. Without them, you risk being surrounded by people who do not honor your vision, your energy, or your worth. It is your responsibility to recognize when a relationship is supportive and when it is draining. This discernment is not selfishness, it is wisdom. It is the difference between remaining stuck in mediocrity and stepping into your full potential. Every relationship you cultivate should add to your life, inspire your growth, or challenge you to become better. Anything less is a distraction. Here's the most powerful truth: when you honor your own value, you naturally create an environment that reflects it. The people who belong in your life will recognize your strength, your integrity, and your purpose. They will respect your time, uplift your spirit, and encourage your growth. And here's the hook that ties it all together. It's not about having many friends, it's about having the right friends. The ones who mirror your energy, amplify your vision, and honor the woman you are becoming. Everything else is noise, distraction, or wasted energy. When you commit to understanding your worth and living by it, you transform not only your relationships, but the entire trajectory of your life. The women, men, and opportunities that align with your value cannot help but come into your orbit, and those who do not. They are simply not meant for your journey.